AT&T has its fair share of great Samsung devices that are powered by its own homegrown TouchWiz interface in the form of the Impression and Eternity, both being geared towards the text messaging crowd. Now we have the Samsung Solstice, which looks to aims to replicate the same successes we've seen with the previous devices. The Samsung Solstice is actually your typical slate form factor. It's nothing really impressive about its looks or its design. The materials that they use is this plastic, two different types of plastic, type of glossy plastic around the border, around the edge of the front, and on the back they use this almost leather-like plastic that gives it a really soft touch feel to it. It's good, it provides a great grip, but other than that the design is lacking, we'd say. It's relatively lightweight, that's because of the lower capacity battery that they use. And it's quite pocketable when you put it in your pockets. Now this device actually has a lot in common with the Samsung Highlight, which was recently released for T-Mobile. The first thing that really catches your eye is the 3-inch LCD screen. It's vivid, it's bright, and also text is very legible, easy to read. On top of that, it's quite responsive when you touch it. On the front you have your send and end key with the back and clear. They're all pretty tactile and they're slightly raised. The same goes with the volume rocker on the side here, and on the other you have your dedicated camera button, quick menu button, and also your proprietary USB and charging port. On the back you have the 2 megapixel camera, which actually is stepped down when you compare it to what's offered on the Eternity and Impression, your speakerphone, and of course when you remove the back cover it reveals the battery, the SIM card slot, and the micro SD card slot it's a slot loading mechanism found right below the SIM card slot. We're agreed to the same exact TouchWiz interface which we've seen already in previous devices. On the left hand you have your widgets, which you could place on the desktop, which gives it a very nice look and also personalized feel. There are relatively some new ones, but nothing that really stands out to be on its own. Now the software on this one's a lot more snappy and quicker than what's found in the Highlight, and you can actually see it in the menu transitions as you go in through the different menus. Navigating is pretty simple, with buttons and icons being very large, so it's relatively easy to touch and press. Text messaging is one of the key points on the Samsung Solstice, and creating messages is a relatively simple process. You could either use the keypad, the handwriting recognition, which is actually unresponsive and also does not accurately understand your handwriting recognition. And of course the best and easiest way to input text is by using the full QWERTY keyboard, which you can pop up by rotating it to a landscape view, and whenever you do touch the screen it does provide a vibration. If you're into instant messaging, you have your traditional applications, AIM, Windows Live, and also Yahoo to choose from. It will run in the background if you exit back to the home screen. And of course the mobile email application is the typical AT&T software that we've seen in the past. Specific clients are on there, but if you're looking for if there's a specific obscure one, unfortunately you won't be able to use it. The web browser on the Solstice is quite usable. The only thing is that scrolling is not as fluid or smooth as we like, just like on the Highlight. The great thing about this one though is that it does provide a mini map, so as you start to scroll through the entire screen, on the bottom left it does show you the location where you're at and also just an overview of the page. Other than that, it is usable. As we said, not the best out there, but for this type of device it definitely works. The Solstice performed relatively well in its phone call quality. There's no background noise or static during our conversations. Our callers sounded distinct and clear, and on top of that, as far as the other side, our callers did state our voice sounded somewhat distant, as if we were far away from the microphone. But overall, a really good performance out of that. The battery life, we were able to get 4 days use out of the battery before it completely drained. That's because it uses a relatively smaller battery than what's found on the Samsung Highlight, and we did have the brightness set to its highest setting. The camera quality, the photo images produced by 2 megapixel were decent. It's good enough, although it is a step down from the 3 megapixel that's found on the Eternity. It does produce pretty decent outdoor images, while indoor shots were just fuzzy. music capability and also video. As you see here in the front, one of the widgets, the media player, music player will continue to play music as you will go back to the home screen. Sound though from the speakerphone was relatively screechy when you had it on the highest volume, so the middle settings probably best. And as far as video quality is concerned, it was smooth and didn't really have any too much hiccups as it played. Now, the Solstice does well in being marketed towards the text messaging crowd. It's great for a younger generation and for kids. Although that it does excel in that area, it's the same device that we've already seen in other previous AT&T TouchWiz devices. It's also more expensive currently right now than the other previous models, and on top of that, you have reduced specs. So if ultimately pricing is concerned, we definitely recommend the other devices over this one. If not, if you want something new and fresh, of course you can head on over and check out the Samsung Solstice for AT&T.